Dear friends, we gather this afternoon to remember and to celebrate the life of one who filled our world with her love, her goodness, her extraordinary spirit, an outstanding example. In humility and gratitude, we turn to the wisdom of our tradition for comfort, for guidance, and for understanding. Throughout the centuries, whenever our people felt lost, confused, at odds, adrift, they would turn to the words of Psalms. And Psalm 121 was a particular favorite, as they would say, I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and of earth. Esainai el Eharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri Esainai el Eharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim V'aretz Ezri me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim V'aretz Esainai el Eharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Adonai, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath. Our days are as a passing shadow. We come and go like grass, which in the morning shoots up renewed, and in the evening fades and withers. Return, all mortal creatures. Would that we were wise, that we understood whither we are going. For when we die, we carry nothing away. Our glory does not accompany us. Mark the wholehearted, and behold the upright. They shall have peace. For those of you for whom the 23rd Psalm is familiar, I invite you to join with me in its recitation. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And in Psalm 15, we ask Adonai, who may abide in your house, who may dwell in your holy mountain? And the answer comes, those who are upright, who do justly, who speak the truth within their hearts, who do not slander others or wrong them or bring shame upon them, who scorn the lawless, but honor those who revere God, who give their word, and come what may, do not retract, who do not exploit others, who do not take bribes. Those who live in this way shall never be shaken. When I die, remember me with a smile and laughter. If thoughts of me provoke no love, only sadness and tears, I ask that I be soon forgotten. Give what's left of me away to children and old ones who wait to die. And if you must cry, cry for your brother or sister who walks in grief beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. You can love me most by letting love live within the circle of your arms, embracing the frightened ones. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. My dear Gary and Nancy, Mark and Adrian, dear Lois, dear family, friends. There is an astute maxim in Jewish life that maintains, Kashem came he, as her name, so is she. One has only to think about Gloria Greenwald for a moment to realize the truth of this assertion. Her very name, Gloria, conjures exceptionalism, graciousness, dignity, renown, praise, honor, glory, glorious, gloriousness, gloria. It is derived from the Latin gloriae and means, as we might expect, glory. It was used in the sense of a good reputation, honor, brilliant celebrity with praise. We don't really need to look at the Latin or the Bible, where it is invoked frequently in praise of God. We have only to think of Gloria, and we know exactly what it means. Kashem came he, as her name, so was she. Within moments of learning the sad news of her death, memories, tributes, and accolades poured forth from her dear friends of our Women of Fairmont Temple. Our current president, Iris Green, in sharing the news that Gloria Greenwald, who served as sisterhood president from 2003 to 4, passed away at the age of 98, added her recollection of the beautiful, sweet, kind, smart, artistic, and generous woman of heart and spirit. Gloria, Kashem came he, as her name, so was she. Ellen Klein, a past co-president and program co-chair with Gloria from 2016 to 17, remembers her as a most creative and resourceful advocate for compelling programs, including a handwriting expert and a tour of her niece, Susan Porges's art studio. She was instrumental in helping to assemble the annual fundraiser of chocolate Seder plates, and remarkably, for this always perfectly dressed, coiffed, and stylish woman, is pictured in a sisterhood brochure, hairnet for food safety and all. She was beautiful, even with a hairnet on her hair. Another past president, Bernice Goldman, remembers how it was Gloria who took Bernice under her wing and introduced her to our sisterhood by insisting she attend the opening luncheon, which was today, by the way, for this year. And I went there specifically to tell them that I was on my way and to offer greetings. But she insisted that Bernice attend the opening luncheon, and she made sure that she sat this newcomer at her table. As Bernice related, she was definitely a people person and was loved by everyone she met. What a beautiful lady she was, and I will always treasure her friendship. Carol Rosenberg remembers, and Carol is here with us. I have known Gloria and her late husband, Herb, all my life. My parents, Jean and Irv Bradley, and the Greenwalds were very close friends. In fact, my parents and my brother and I used to take fun family vacations in Michigan with Gloria and Herb and their two sons,
Yeah, I remember.
Gary and Mark, when we were all growing up. Gloria always loved to tell the story when my parents made Gloria and Herb a surprise special anniversary party with all their friends, and my dad gave Herb a bagel to use as a ring that Herb put on Gloria's finger during the marriage ceremony, in which they repeated their vows to each other. Gloria wore my mother's wedding veil. I loved reconnecting with Gloria, when I joined Women of Fairmont Temple, and we would reminisce about our family's friendship and catch up on all the news. Gloria was a very beautiful and special person, inside and out. I will miss her. Gloria connotes a sense of great beauty. And if we add to that her sometime nickname, Glow, we recognize her special spark, her lustrous presence, her sparkle, and radiant spirit. Our beautiful Glow first brightened this world on January 17, 1924, the firstborn of Winifred and Maurice Hirsch's two beautiful daughters, as Lois followed 3 years later. They grew up in Cleveland Heights, in a friendly, safe, everybody's door was unlocked neighborhood. In addition, the Hirsches lived in the second floor apartment of a two-family house with the grandparents downstairs. Such easy access to loving adults made for a warm, secure, and happy childhood. They also had fond memories of several weeks every summer spent in Mentor, Ohio. As Gloria remembered, we walked to Coventry from their home on Lee Road and Euclid Heights Boulevard, which is not far from right here. We never heard about any crime. We would go and do and never be afraid of anything. Even potential difficulties seemed to be easily resolved. Gloria always loved music and the arts. When she and Lois took tap dancing lessons as grade schoolers, the grandparents on the first floor found the intense tapping through the ceiling to be intolerable. So they switched apartments. The grandparents moved upstairs, and Gloria and Lois and their family moved downstairs. As a student at Heights High, Gloria was social, active, and well-liked by both the girls and always the boys. Gloria joined the Tau Sigma Beta sorority where she held many positions, including that of president, which in retrospect was a harbinger of things to come in her long, active, involved life as a businesswoman, civic leader, and community volunteer. Upon graduation from Heights, she had planned to attend Miami of Ohio University, but with the advent of the war and her budding relationship with a young man by the name of Herb Greenwald, she decided instead to do a one-year course in business at Dyke College. Gloria herself was always somewhat surprised at what she was able to accomplish with only 1 year of business school training. As she herself acknowledged in an autobiographical statement urged upon her as a past president of our Fairmont Temple Sisterhood by Ellen Klein. Looking back, business college was so helpful throughout my life, especially when we were in business together. For a woman who lacked a college degree, I fooled even myself. Actually, I loved working, especially with my husband and for the Cleveland community. I enjoyed the advertising part because the work was creative. Both of us were people-oriented, and combined, we worked well with our many associations. The entire personal statement, which affords us such wonderful insights into her thinking and her experiences, is beautifully written in her longhand, exquisite penmanship that, like her physical appearance, speaks to her meticulousness, her perfectionism, her artistry, and her impeccable standards of taste and of deportment. In one of her reflections, shared with her sons Gary and Mark, Gloria reflected, "I attribute much of my outgoing personality, loving people as I do, and other qualities are from my dad, Maurice. He was a perfectionist, and so am I. From my mother, Winifred, I inherited her love of cooking, clothes, decorating, and cleanliness. Winifred also taught Gloria to put your husband first, then your children, then your parents, and that is how she lived her life." As both Gary and Mark, as well as Nancy and Adrian will attest, Gloria was the original June Cleaver of Leave It to Beaver renown. She was the perfect wife, mother, daughter, aunt, hostess, and friend. Her house was immaculately clean, neat, and tastefully decorated. She drove her children to their afternoon school activities, attended every sports game, program, or assembly, helped them with homework, fixed their lunches, had a hot, home-cooked meal waiting for Herb and the boys every night, and seemed to accomplish it all without a hair out of place, a wrinkle in her dress, a smudge in her makeup, or anything less than her warm, positive, happy disposition. Gloria honed her culinary skills at the side of her mother, at whose home the family would regularly gather for Jewish and secular holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions of all kinds, or just for a meal together. Gloria and Herb, Gary and Mark, Lois and Ray, with Alana, Randy, and Susie. When Maurice passed away, Gloria and Lois took over the family gatherings, as Gloria perfected her chocolate roll, chopped liver, and her to-die-for brisket. She was perhaps too organized, as she started planning Rosh Hashanah meals in July, and any time the family or friends were expected for a meal, her table was perfectly set and gloriously appointed at least 3 days in advance. She was a fabulous woman to a fault. With her, she was a supportive, encouraging, and loving parent. Gary speaks of appreciating what a stunning woman she was, who grew more beautiful with age, and of his pride in her when she literally transformed herself into a business dynamo. Whatever she did well. Even before her venture into business, she taught cooking and home economics for 14 years at the JCC. When she and Herb entertained, they created themed gatherings as Gloria embraced the details of a Hawaiian, Italian, or French meal, replete with clothes and decor to match. As Adrian recognized, her power was in her organization, and nowhere was that more in evidence than in her recipe box. It has become one of Adrian's treasured possessions, with countless recipes rendered in her impeccable hand. She was gloriously Gloria. As such, she was somewhat larger than life as a mother, and seemed with her to epitomize the perfect married couple. We can well understand her son's more hesitant approach to marriage, given the stellar example with which they had grown up. Gloria. They met by accident. The high school sororities used to hold their meetings on Friday nights, after which the boys would come by looking for dates. At around 11 p.m., he wandered in, having intended to go to the house next door, where another sorority was meeting. They started to talk, and did not stop until Herb passed away in January of 2002. He was 5 years older than she was, and when they met, she was only 16. He thought she was too young, but they dated for 3.5 years when, quote, my future husband was called to enlist. We were married once he was in the service. I was 19 and a half and joined him on several Army locations so we could be together. They were married on September 28, 1943, and spent much of his service in Savannah, Georgia, at Camp Stewart, where Herb trained the troops in field maneuvers. According to Gloria, when Herb was discharged from the service, we settled in an apartment in Cleveland. It was a wonderful marriage. I loved being a housewife. Herb found positions in Cleveland, Canton, and Pittsburgh as advertising managers for furniture stores. When the store in Pittsburgh closed, he found a position in Cleveland with Kurtz Furniture, where he remained for about 16 years. Herb also always had additional private clients, and they managed well. Gary and Mark were growing up, and Gloria was involved with the United Order of True Sisters, as well as the JCC, where she taught several weekly classes. Gloria continues. In the meantime, Herb decided to open his own advertising agency and felt I would fit in nicely. I did not have any special advertising background, but Herb said he could teach me. Because of my writing, art background, business skills, and ease with meeting people, I would fit right in. The boys were older by then, and I managed to take care of my family and my role in the business. Our clients realized they were getting a good team to represent them. Because we were a unique team, people started hearing of us. The 6-city Chamber of Commerce approached Herb and hired him as their executive director. It was a perfect fit for both of us. Herb loved the community work, and our teamwork was a perfect addition both to our agency and the chamber. During our careers, we serviced about 17 shopping centers, as well as our other clients, and we loved working together. My business training was perfect. My writing worked well for advertising copy and also for TV commercials. It was a great blend of our talents. There were times when I had to step in and handle both roles. When Herb was ill, we were just starting to plan a 6-city marathon through our entire area when Herb learned he had cancer and was really ill. Some of our clients were on the west side, and I had to keep the agency and the chamber going. I didn't know how we'd put on a marathon, a big undertaking with Herb so ill, but we did it with the cooperation of the merchants, the city, and the police. Seeing how well I managed, the chamber voted me in as deputy director. I kept things going until Herb was well enough to work again. He beat the cancer and lived 21 years longer, dying instead, unfortunately, of Alzheimer's. Gloria, renown, honor, praise. They were noticed and they were praised. An article in the Plain Dealer had this to say about them. The Greenwalds have a simple philosophy. Happiness comes from togetherness, and their partnership in business for more than 3 decades has quietly touched the lives of thousands of people in the eastern suburbs. Their Beechwood house, where they raise 2 children, is more than a home. It's also an office for the Heights Area Chamber of Commerce, which they have operated since 1968. Our personalities mesh so well, said Herbert Greenwald. She never tells me what to do, and I never tell her what to do. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can be in love and work together. But if you can, it's the best way to work. The Greenwalds rarely spend time apart, but they manage to maintain vitality in their marriage and work, which has played a major behind-the-scenes role in the commercial development of the Chamber's 6 member cities. They can name nearly every proprietor of every storefront boutique, shopping center, or mall in Shaker Heights, Lyndhurst, Cleveland Heights, Beechwood, University Heights, and South Euclid, the Chamber members. Yet their work with the organization since 1968 has gone far beyond advertising and promoting businesses. It has bordered on community organizing. Street fairs, the 6 Cities Marathon, summer home and garden shows, brochures on the virtues of East suburban living, helping youths find summer jobs, campaigning for tax levies, giving tours to out-of-towners, arranging appearances for political candidates during municipal elections. They do it all. Their basement office is filled with photographs, promotional materials, 2 desks, and a calendar crowded with appointments 6 days a week. It's the hub of everything. It's wonderful we've been able to have it, Gloria Greenwald said, and we love it. Sometimes we work longer hours than we should, but we've learned to stay away from the office at night. We've been criticized by family because we're on duty all the time, but there's something in us that takes pride in the Heights area. The Greenwald's career took a turn in 1968 when they began work in the Lee Chagrin Avalon shopping district in Shaker Heights, which led to Herbert Greenwald's appointment as executive director of the Six-City Chamber. They organized street sales, carnivals, crafts and fashion shows, and other youth-oriented events to attract families to the area. They lobbied city officials on behalf of merchants, such as arguing against traffic control barriers and cul-de-sacs on side streets in Shaker. They loved their work, and they loved each other, and they had great fun doing it all. Gloria exuded a joy in people and a joy in living. They had a large circle of friends, which only grew larger every time they traveled. They would invariably find themselves connecting with couples in their 30s and 40s when they were in their 50s, 60s, and even early 70s. They enjoyed cruises to Alaska and in the Caribbean. They traveled to Europe and enjoyed their time here in the United States, in Florida and California. They had season's tickets to the Playhouse and enjoyed Severance Hall. They attended a lot of business social events for the Chamber of Commerce and liked nothing better than having dinner with any combination of their many friends who were all very important to Gloria and Herb. Gloria and Herb rejoiced as well when Nancy came into Gary's life, and Adie, whom they had known since she was a high schooler, as the daughter of one of their shopping mall merchants in 2 Marks. It was a special thrill to welcome Amanda and now 12-year-old Jasmine and Lindsay, who recently married Eric Lanza. Herb and I retired when he was about 70. We found he had Alzheimer's, and the next 10 years were not easy. I took care of him for all but the last 6 or 8 months in the hospital and nursing home. After a 58-year fabulous marriage with Herb, I had to learn how to get through the mourning period. My life was so tied up with the life we shared. We had moved into an apartment, and after Herb's death, I met a wonderful man, Jim Freed, who had also lost his wife to Alzheimer's. We gradually got to know each other and were fortunate to have 8.5 happy and loving years together. We traveled and enjoyed the bonus years God had given us. Gloria had been confirmed at the Euclid Avenue Temple by Rabbi Brickner in 1939. She was proud of her long association with our congregation and greatly enjoyed reconnecting through our sisterhood. Gloria, beautiful, honored, radiant. When she moved to Wiggins, she again made a life for herself and found loving companionship. She was remarkably vital, beautiful, and luminous until just 2 years ago. As she was grateful for the very full, rich, challenging, and fulfilling life that she led, so are we grateful for the beautiful human being who graced our world with her elegant bearing, her joyful spirit, her personal warmth and magnetism, her charm, her charisma, her gracious, generous way of touching others, her irresistible spark of joy and of humanity. Kashem came he. As her name, so was she. She was glorious indeed. Zichrona livracha. May her memory rest as an eternal blessing upon us. And let us say, Amen. O God, you give us loved ones and make them the strength of our life, the light of our eyes. They depart and leave us bereft on a lonely way. But you are the living fountain from which our healing flows. To you the stricken look for comfort and the sorrow-laden for consolation. O God, we see life as through windows that open on eternity. We see that love endures and the soul endures, as you, O God, endure forever. We see that the years are more than grass that withers, more than flowers that fade. They weave a timeless pattern in a world that is the dwelling place of your love and glory. Please rise if you are able. Rachamim shochen bamromim hametzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina im kedoshim utehorim kizorakia Mazirim et nishmat hayikara shalanu shalcha leolama bal harachamim yastira b'set aknav leolamim et nishmata Adonai hu nachalata v'tanuach v'shalom al mishkava v'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Gloria Greenwald, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting love. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say, ממולו, כי חודכה משפט, אלמנה ונבל, צדיק וישר הוא. עצור תמים בכל פועל, מיומל עמדי פועל, השליט למטה ולמעל, ממית ומחיה, מוריד שול ביד. עצור תמים בכל מעשה, מיומל מה תעשה. We praise you, Judge of truth, who ordains death and summons us to life. Help us to feel your presence in this time of loss, so that we may declare that God is upright, our rock, in whom there is no unrighteousness. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. It is only the house of the Spirit, which we now lay within the earth. The Spirit itself cannot die. Receive in mercy, O God, the soul of our departed, Gloria Greenwald. Grant her that everlasting peace, which you have prepared for us in the world to come. Though no human eye has seen, nor ear has heard, nor mind has grasped it, still it is our sure inheritance and our everlasting portion. O God, help us to understand that grief and love go hand in hand, that the pain which loss inflicts is the measure of a love stronger than death. That we cry in the anguish of our hearts, may we be like children who know that their parent is near and who cling unafraid to the trusted hand. In this spirit, O God, do we commit all that is precious to us to your keeping as we rise now in order to repeat the words hallowed by generations of our people in the cottage praise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah v'amad divra hilutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael v'agala uvizman karim v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevarach v'olam olamei almaya yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitfa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei v'kudisha v'yichud le'ela in kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alman v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabbah min Shmaya v'chayim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mamah hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. It is part of the tradition of our people to actually help to bury our departed with our very own hands. And for those for whom it would have meaning, to place a symbolic shovelful of dirt upon the gravesite, I invite you to do so at this time. friends, let us formally conclude this service with these words from our tradition, and anyone who wishes may continue to put dirt upon the gravesite. Lech ki shilachaka Adonai. Go your way, for God has called you. Lech Adonai yiyeh imach. Go your way, and may God be with you. V'halach lefanecha tzidkecha. Kavod Adonai ya'asecha. May your righteousness go before you, and the glory of God receive you. And we say to the family, Hamakom yenachem etchem, b'toch she'ar avei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God console you with all who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem.